All right, hey, so a couple things. This first time we're doing it this way. We're trying to do it through the outstations. We got a bunch of people in the room. So I work well with hand and arm signals. If you kind of shift me left, shift me right. This absolutely is intended to be interactive, okay? There's 2 slides, that's it. So don't expect me to sit up here and talk for 15, 20 minutes and bore you guys. This is intended to be interactive, okay? What I want both the outstation and the folks that are here in the room to take a couple seconds and just think to yourself, what did you hope that you would get out of this discussion today, this conversation? What did you hope? What did you hope I would say, or what question would come up and you would kind of walk away with, okay? And if we don't get to that within the first 15 or 20 minutes, you raise your hand, okay? It doesn't even have to be a good question. You just say something like, I hoped we would talk about how to make it happen, how for me to get to JPMRC, okay? And then we'll cover that, okay? But on behalf of JPMRC, myself and Sergeant Major Porter are going to spend some time talking to you guys and help, kind of think through what was some of those bias that you've heard about JPMRC. What do you want to know about it? All right? And I'll start off with our purpose, right? The whole purpose of a combat training center, right, is number 1, to provide foundational leadership development for the rotational unit, and in our case, everybody that's a part of that exercise. Everybody that shows up to a JPMRC exercise is going to get something out of it. Whether you're the Op 4, whether you're in exercise control, whether you're on Blue 4, Op 4, it doesn't matter. Everybody, OC, that shows up to a JPMRC exercise is going to get something out of that exercise. That's our goal. That's our purpose, foundational leadership development, number 1, right? Our second purpose of a combat training center is to assess, in some cases validate, the new formation or the formations at which the Army says we are supposed to have, okay? For this rotation in November, it is a brigade combat team. It is a new DIVARTY, how it works with the division, an intelligence battalion, a signal battalion, right? The Army says assess these formations and assess this equipment with that unit and provide feedback to the Army. Those are the 2 reasons that we exist. And so everything we do is kind of shooting towards that. And is related to that, okay? So that is our absolute purpose, right? I'm going to turn it over here to a second to Sergeant Major Porter to talk about who we are and why we do it. But when you talk about the kind of people that we are looking for in our organization, I have been a soldier since I was 17 years old. I signed up for the Army at 17. I was 11 Bravo. I went off to the Rangers, somehow made it. And I have been in the Army my entire adult life, right? And I live for helping soldiers prepare to fight and win in combat. And now I got 2 kids that are in the Army. One's a sergeant in the 101st, and one's a cadet at West Point. And I absolutely live to help any unit that I'm a part of or anybody that we interact with to help us fight and win in combat. That's all I care about. All right? And if there's something that is involved that gets at and hinders our ability to prepare to fight and win in combat, I'm interested. Okay? Sergeant Major, please.
Hey, good morning, team. Sergeant Major Alan Porter. I've been the Brigade Sergeant Major at JPMRC since April. Prior to that, I was the 1st Battalion Sergeant Major for about a year. Spent a lot of time in some great units throughout the Army, to include a long time in the 25th. Grew up as a young private in 127. I was also a platoon sergeant in 114. Spent some time in some other units throughout the Pacific. I love the Pacific. Number 1, it's a great place to live, right? But it's a great place to fight, right? Coming to JPMRC, right, as an NCO, I think it's a great opportunity to reinvest all that knowledge that you have, right? Because people care, right? You have a small bit of information that you can reinvest in those young squad leaders, those platoon sergeants, those first sergeants, right? And it's not all the things that you did that were great. It's those things that maybe you're like, man, I really jacked it up, right? Whenever I was a platoon sergeant back in the 101st, whatever, these are the things I wish I could have done better, right? And then you take that time while you're at the box and you reinvest it. You pull that notebook and you're like, hey, don't forget to do this. Don't forget to do that. That's right when that coaching comes in, right? And that's one thing that we're really trying to do differently at our CTC is actually take extra time to coach, right? So I think that's powerful to me as an NCO is not just to tell the unit that they're jacked up or just worry about collecting different data points, but being able to reinvest the knowledge that I've learned over 25 years in the Army to help out those younger NCOs to not make the same mistakes that I did and just make them better, right? I tell a lot of people when they come to the organization that just like any other unit in the Army, that it can completely destroy your career or completely help it, right? It's all about what you do while you're there, right? You can go to the best unit in the Army, you can go to the worst, but as long as you put forth the best effort every day and make yourself better and make the unit better, you're going to do great things, right? I wanted to take a quick minute just to introduce two individuals real quick. Go and stand up, guys. All right, so this is Sergeant First Class
Go over there.
Gonzalez and Captain Robinson from our 1st Battalion, right? Anybody know about the Pershing Cup, what it is? All right, so every year, 1st Army puts on something called the Pershing Cup, right? It's a best OCT competition, right? And you have CTCs from all across active duty, National Guard, and Reserve, and they send their best, right? This was the first year that we sent anybody, right? We sent 3 teams, right? From our 1st, our 3rd, and our 4th battalions, right? And these 2 gentlemen right here got 1st place overall, right? So guys that have been training, that had a plan of record for years, right? We put forth our 2 best guys and they got 1st place. So I just want to give them the opportunity just to tell a little bit about their experience, what they've learned here at JPMRC, what they learned about the Pershing Cup, about themselves, and then how they're going to use that to better help the unit.
Yeah. Hey, good morning, everyone. Captain Robinson. I was coming from 1st Brigade, 82nd Airborne Division, 4CCC, and this is my follow-on assignment after that. The train up in Alaska at the Marine First Class Gonzalez conducted 2 weeks ago. Train up before the Pershing Cup was an incredible opportunity. If you guys are down at the team level, like Sergeant Major was saying, coaching up those squad leaders, platoon sergeants, platoon leaders, company commanders, this was an incredible opportunity for you guys to get hands-on level 10 tasks that I know that maybe we don't get to as we move up as senior leaders. Once again, just an incredible opportunity, and thank you, sir, Sergeant Major, for the opportunity to compete. This is an amazing experience, and thank you all from the team for the support that we have on the backside.
Sergeant First Class Gonzalez, came from Fort Riley. I'm 11 Charlie, as well as a section leader. Pershing Cup itself was pretty cool because we got to see and work with different OCs from all types of different CTCs, including JPMRC, JRTC, NTC, and also the first ACRC, which is the Compo 2 and 3 OCs. Overall, it was great because we got to see how they do things, how we do things, kind of compare and contrast, and even bring back some ideas on how they're doing stuff so that we can incorporate those as well. Our information.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you. Good job. Okay. All right, so now what I want to do, you had a chance to think about it, all right? You heard a couple things that me and Sergeant Major talked about. What did you hope we would talk about today? And what do you want to talk about first?
Sir, like I kind of...
First Sergeant, go.
Sir, like I kind of asked you earlier, First Sergeant Guard from 227. Like I kind of asked you earlier, how many we needing, like how dire is the need for cadre over at 196?
Yeah, great question. So the question is how many people are we looking for, and how are we growing at JPMRC? Okay. So the short answer right now, there are names and slots that are in the marketplace this minute. Okay. Those slots are open. If you're in the market, you can see them and you can compete for those slots, right? If you are not in the market, we also have slots, right? And those slots are because they're opening up in the future, right? The number is 471. That is the direction. We call it the road to 471. 471 people is what the Army has decided it will take to run a combat training center in the Pacific and the 196th Infantry Brigade. It's about 90-something people, green suiters, to run the 196th Infantry Brigade, and it's about 270, 280 green suiters to be those OCs and the planners for a CTC. We also have GS civilians. We also have Booz Allen contractors that help us round out where those gaps are. And right now we're able to complete our mission of both those missions of the 196th and the mission of a CTC because of the support that we get from the 25th Infantry Division, JRTC, and the 11th Airborne Division. Okay? So for the people that are not in the market right now, we will be looking to start building out those task forces. So if you can imagine, an infantry task force has a lieutenant colonel, it has 2 majors, it has a command sergeant major. Those people used to be battalion commanders, battalion command sergeant major, and battalion S3s or XOs. That means they're post-KD and they fill out that task force. Then we have the captains, prior company commanders. We have a fire support officer, prior battery commander or FSO. Right? We get into the NCOs. The sergeant first classes have been platoon sergeants. The master sergeants, they've been platoon sergeants, probably just getting ready to be a first sergeant. Okay? We build out that task force. We're looking to build out maneuver task forces. We're building out an artillery task force to go with the artillery battalion. We're building out aviation task force. We're building out our logistics task force to overwatch the BSB or an LSB. All right? Those are the primary things that we're building out. We're also building out our operations group, and those are the ones that plan and help us prepare for the Hawaii exercise, the Alaska exercise, the Philippines exercise. Those are our 3 big ones. We do what's called a cross-functional team. It's somebody from all those branches that comes together under a lieutenant colonel. Right now, those are our battalion commanders. Right, our Hawaii battalion commander, Colonel Yee, he's teamed up with the 25th Infantry Division to help plan for this exercise that's happening in November. That cross-functional team is always focused on Hawaii and the 25th. Then we have a cross-functional team in Alaska, our 2nd Battalion, which is at JBER. They are focused on the relationship with the 11th Airborne Division, and they are focused on the February exercise. All right, so we've got 2 teams there. We've got our 3rd Battalion, which is in Guam. They are focused on west of the international date line and the Philippines exercise, leading that planning. So you can imagine we've got all the branches and the MOSs coming together to help plan those exercises. And then when it's time to execute, we all come together in that one location, and then we execute the combat training center, right, with the augmentees that we build around. Okay? So that's the shorter answer to how many people are we looking for. Don't worry about the billets right now. You just come to us and say, I want to be a part of this team, and let us figure out which billet makes sense for you and when. Okay? Good one, First Sergeant. Good one. First Sergeant.
Sir, Sergeant Major, First Sergeant Gutierrez, 227. Could you tell us about, a lot of guys are wondering like what the tempo is like how many rotations are we going to see per year? Stuff like that. Kind of get an idea of how long they're going to be away from home, away, doing the training, and everything like that. What does that mean?
Okay, so number 1, I'm from Missouri, so I won't do too much math out loud. So 3 times a year, you're going to be gone for sure for about 21 days, right? That depends. If you're here in Hawaii, you're going to be at home, but you're going to be working hard for 21 days, supporting exercise. You have 21 days in Alaska, right? And then 21 days in the Philippines. Right? So that's about 3 months, right? But you also have, depending on the year, you have the rotation in Indonesia. This year we did one in Thailand. We sent some guys to Australia, right? So I think just based on my math, right, there's about 5 to 6 months out of the year that you could possibly be gone, about 3 weeks at a time, right? The good thing is, though, you guys in the 25th are already doing that, right? That other 6 months that you have, right? That's when you're able to reinvest it in yourself, right? Your family, right? Work on things like professional education, go to different military schools, right? So a lot of the opportunities that you might not get where you're currently at because you don't have that 6 months of reduced op tempo, right? You're able to reinvest in yourself at JPMRC, right? Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, good one. Let's go to the outstations. We got a bunch of hands up.
Sir, we got a question from Captain Matty.
Hey, sir, this is Captain Matty. Field artillery background. Question about
Boom,
regards
boom.
to building out a fires team. Specifically, I can see the positions open in the marketplace, and you discussed how you're building out the different kind of task forces. For the fires in particular, would we have the opportunity to kind of get to see both sides of it, depending on how long we were there? So maybe some time where you're working on more the gun line side, and some time where you're working on the fire support side.
Yeah, the short answer is yes to everything that you just said. You won't be able to just come here and do one thing, okay? You're not going to be able to come here and just OC. That doesn't exist, right, guys? You got to come in and also be part of the planning. You've got to also be part of the, give us some feedback on this. You also got to go out and recruit. Half the room right now is people that are going out and doing these interviews to start building these teams, right? You're going to get a chance to see everything. You really will see behind the curtain. You get to walk into exercise control, see what's happening for the day, what's going to happen for the next 24, 48 hours. You can look at it and say, hey, something's about to go down in about 6 hours. I want to be there. And then you can go and be there, right? Because that's what we get to do, right? We get to shape how we're going to spend our time. We know when the attack is going to be happening for the most part. We know when the air assault is. We know when all those things are going to happen. We know what the scenario is supposed to happen. So you don't have to show up to the gun line when they're at 60% strength or 50% strength, they lost a bunch of people, and all they're doing is Kazovac. I didn't come to see that. I want to see when they're getting ready to do the preparation for a high rain. I want to see how they're going to load these HIMARS onto a C-17 and fly them into the Philippines, land them in the Philippines, race them to the firing point, and execute a live fire. That's what they're going to do. I want to see that. I've never seen that before, right? Oh, you just so happen to know that on day whatever, this is when that exact event is going to happen, and you can get a chance to see that. Right? It might look like a big team, but we've got a small enough team that we can make those kind of things happen. You will absolutely get a chance to see everything that you want to see while you're out there. And it's not just fire support things too. You're going to get to see the infantry battalion, you're going to get to see the light support battalion, the BSB, the CSSB, and how the division is supporting and moving that ammunition into the proper place. As an OC, you have to have that cognitive ability to know everything that's going on, right? You've got to be able to sit there if you're an infantry and you're saying, I guess it doesn't matter what your branch is. If the unit that you're OCing has not made contact with the enemy in 24 to 48 hours, that's CCIR in our organization. That's come back and say, my unit has not seen anything in about 24 hours. Get with the OP4, figure out that, make sure we're not going to break the matrix. Let's bring this together and let's get after some of those training objectives. That's what we're pushing down to the master sergeants, to the sergeant first classes, and the captains that are out there with the platoons. We expect you to do that while you're out there, to create this environment where everybody walks away and says, that was the greatest training exercise I've ever been a part of. And it's our job to create that. So those are the kind of people that we're looking for to be. If that sounds in any way, shape, or form exciting, that you get to create that in your own little area of the box, that's the kind of people we're looking for. Great one, Maddie. Let's go to next person on the...
Sir, we got Captain Kimmel from 11th Airborne.
Airborne.
Hey, good morning, sir. Sergeant Major. Appreciate the putting this on and doing the town hall with us. I was curious, being at Fort Wainwright at the moment and seeing or I guess more hearing the adjustments to the JPMRC that they're trying to implement. How do you see that affecting the team in JBER the most? And do you see positions and even facilities growing within the training areas or even at Fort Wainwright? And what does that look like in the future for up here? And then even, as a OCT, how would you see that affecting the teams that do that stuff?
Yeah, so in the short term, we have our 2nd Battalion, 196th, stationed at J-Bear. 14 people? Okay, so let's say they have 14 people. They're adding on a couple people, interpost transfers from the 11th Airborne Division, 1 or 2 people coming from other units, PCSing to J-Bear this summer, right? If we do interpost transfers from the 11th Airborne Division, all you got to do is, it's a Velcro patch swap. You're now in either 2nd Battalion, 196th, and over the next 6 to 12 months, what we're working on is we want them to be in a JPMRC CTC billet. I want to build 2 teams in Alaska in J-Bear. First is led by Lieutenant Colonel Weisner. That's our 2nd Battalion, 196th team. They are authorized 14 people. But the task force run by a lieutenant colonel, a post battalion CSM, those 2 majors, and the complement, it's about 40 people to run a task force. I would want them to live in J-Bear with the primary responsibility of the relationship with the 11th Airborne Division. That includes the Airborne Brigade and the division headquarters right there at J-Bear and the Arctic Wolves up at Fort Richardson. You own Alaska. 196, they own everything, Reserve, National Guard, in that state. They own it. So those 2 lieutenant colonels are putting on and preparing for that November exercise with the 11th Airborne Division. But what they're also a part of is their their FTXs, their LTP that they do. They show up. Hey, we're getting ready to go do a field training exercise. Can 1 or 2 of your OCs show up and help us how you provide feedback on, loiter munitions, drone usage? What are you seeing from the 25th at the other rotations? Bring that out to us. Come and see our artillery. You just watched a DIVARTY establishing in the 25th. Come bring that and show it to us now in Alaska, and how does that make it? So that's what we would build in Alaska. That's the goal that we're looking towards building out. Where we put those people, right now we've got some offices right there with 2196. I could see that whole floor growing. I could see us start building out. I'm not trying to build new stuff. I'm trying to make the most of the spaces and the places that we already have on those posts. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, absolutely, sir. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
I have 2 things real quick. One, if you're at Fort Wainwright right now, you cannot do an inter-post transfer down to J-Bear, right? That would have to actually be a PCS assignment or PCS move, right? And the other thing too is kind of linked to the last question that was asked, like coming to JPMRC as a whole, right? A lot of people ask me, like, hey, if I come here, what happens if I'm a Sergeant First Class and I make Master Sergeant, or I'm a pre-command captain and somehow I showed up here, like, is this going to slow down my career and my promotion possibilities, right? We will not do that, right? If you show up and you're highly competitive, you're a Sergeant First Class, you pin on First Sergeant, right? We're going to go find you a job either in the 25th or if you're up in Alaska in the 11th Airborne Division, like quick, right? We had guys last year, like they got promoted in July, and like by August 1st, we already had to move, right? Because that's the thing, we are not going to do anything to stagnate your career, okay?
Yeah, thank you for that. Go ahead, Esther.
Sir, we got
Thanks, sir,
a
Major.
question from Captain Mack from 1ID.
Sir, Captain Mack, Sergeant Major, thank you for putting on the town hall. The question I have is regarding live fires when it comes to the force on forces. Is there an opportunity for OCs at JPMRC to get integrated into the live fires to kind of see how the units develop from the force on force portion to a live fire scenario, and see their growth from hitting the ground to a live fire exercise?
Yeah, right now the Philippines exercise would be the first time that we have a live fire going on in somewhat of conjunction with JPMRC. We do not have a live fire team. It is not part of the rotation. Like when you go to JRTC and you do your 10 days, your RSOI, then you do 10 days in the box, and then you do 3 to 5 days up on the live fires on like Peace-on Ridge or something like that. We don't do that with JPMRC. But if the 11th Airborne Division or the 25th plans a live fire, at the tail end, of the rotation. This will be the first time we've done it, and then that we could look into the opportunity for our OCs to go and experience and see it. Potentially even be, some form of OC on the range and provide a safety walk behind those lanes. This will be the first time that we've done it. We'll be in the Philippines. This Philippines too, we're jamming 2 exercises together. One was called Balakatan, the other was called Salakanib. We would only be there participating in the Salakanib and do the RSOI in the 10 days in the box. And we put that combat training center over the exercise. This year we're going to jam those 2 together, and we're going to kind of spread it out a little bit to allow a longer exercise. Why? Because everything we do at JPMRC, we are an operational CTC. What does that mean? An institutional CTC is where people go, they go to the installation, they train, and then they have to go back home, right? What we do with the CTC is we train the units, and the CTC is happening in the region at which you live and which you fight. So for the 25th, it's in the Pacific. For the Alaska, it's in the Arctic, right? And then in the summer, it's in the Philippines with our partners on the terrain at which we would need to be able to execute that mission. And we're already there doing it, doing what we would be asked to do as a military with the people on the terrain at which we would do it. In the Philippines, doing the live fire, right? And so that's what we're doing, is we're extending it a little bit. So to wrap that up, we don't currently do live fires with the units at the moment.
Yes, sir. We have a question from Captain Matty.
Go ahead, Matty.
Sir, apologies. The hand was still up. I didn't close it.
All right. If not, we'll have a question from Captain Shaw from 11th Airborne.
Okay, Airborne.
Captain Shaw, you're muted.
Apologies, sorry about that. Captain Shaw from Fort Wainwright, Alaska. A question about JPMRC and maybe its future goals. NTC, JMRC, JRTC all have dedicated OPFOR units. Is that something that JPMRC might develop in the future, or will it consistently be the sister brigades that are kind of filling that role, sir?
I think we're going in the direction of a professionalized OPFOR, but this is a long-term plan. And I think the way we're going about it is we've already got a great team in what we call our operational environment and OPFOR pillar. That is a pillar of the CTC. And what we have is we have people that are either 20 to 30 year retired command sergeant majors running that OPFOR program. We have a 30-year first group special forces Green Beret that is helping run that OPFOR. We've got the G2 from the 101st running the OE. We've got the Brigade S2 coming out of the 82nd as a senior for the Intel. And I could keep going with the amount of people that are there. That team is to make the OPFOR, which currently is coming from the 25th or the 11th, right? To make them more effective, to help them with multi-domain operations, usage of drones, usage of jammers and all that, to provide them with the intelligence in order to, that our adversary might have information dominance over the rotational unit. So we've got that built. What we're building next, if you can imagine, is almost like an SF team. It's a few people that would be able to go and partner with the rotational OPFOR and help them be more effective. And then that would turn into a platoon. And then a platoon turns into a company. And then we had a captain with a first sergeant. And you take that OPFOR company and you augment it with a whole battalion or a whole brigade from the 25th. Right? So now we have a small professionalized OPFOR, right? And that becomes like the SPF. That becomes the OPFOR's more professional, more like almost like a soft unit, right? Where they can do the special missions that we need if I'm the group enemy commander, and I can put them into specific missions. Because why? Because they know us, because we're trained together. They're better with some of the equipment. They're getting more reps and sets, right? So I see it starting with a small team, almost like a detachment. It grows into a platoon, it grows into a company, and then who knows, sky could be the limit from that. But I do see us going in that direction. How about any questions from this room? Boom, boom. Go, Sergeant Gonzalez.
Sir, Sergeant Major, I was hoping to hear more about like the cyber warfare portion of JPMRC. Is that like an opportunity for people to like transfer into, or like a platoon or a small team?
Yeah. The sky's the limit as far as anything to do with multi-domain operations, okay? If you have an expertise in any one of those domains, we're interested, all right? We are interested, because everything we do right now, we've got to lean on the 25th Infantry Division, we've got to lean on the 11th Airborne Division. If we got even one person that is an expert in that area, that becomes our lead planner. They team up with our team, and you can go here in a second, you can jump up. But they team up with our folks to help plan it, and then you get surrounded by all of the folks from the 25th that are involved in that. And then we put them in what's called the fusion cell. I want to turn it over to Major McCarter to talk a little bit about this.
Hey, morning team. I used to run the OEL 4 pillars. Short answer is yes. We are currently working with the Army to do direct military overhire to activate a lot of our billets ahead of schedule, and a big chunk of that is in the cyber EW realm. And we've been awarded $18 million plus in modernization money from our 4 TIC functions from the CSA, and a large chunk of that money we have allocated towards buying equipment specifically in that domain. So there's a lot of growth potential for us in the cyber EW work realm. So.
Yeah, good one. Thanks, Sergeant Gonzalez.
Sir, Sergeant Major, Captain Eddie from the 25th Infantry Division. So I'm just looking to kind of understand how we're looking to expand or grow JPMRC across the international date line, whether that's bringing in more partners, expanding Salcommitted Catan, or just making the exercises longer, or working through TIC.
Yeah. What we're trying to do is we're trying to grow at a responsible rate. And what we mean by that is in every one of these categories, whether it's bringing on more people, extending an exercise, doing one more exercise a year, we're trying to do that at a responsible rate. All right. What we don't want to do is try to do too much, too soon, too fast, and then we can't deliver on what it is that we're being asked to do. Okay. So we want to underpromise and overdeliver. All right. But what we have expanded is we got the 3 big exercises: Hawaii, Alaska, and the Philippines. But now we've got 3 smaller ones. Okay. Malaysia and Indonesia this year. Right? And then we'll look at somewhere else. We did Australia with our 4th Battalion. We did our Cobra Gold in Thailand with our 1st Battalion. So those smaller ones, it's about 20 people. It's 1 battalion. So you get 1 lieutenant colonel, you get 1 CSM, you get a smaller staff, you bolt some people onto it from our staff, from the brigade staff, right, the ops group, and then we go in there and we do a smaller exercise. Those are also starting to become, in the future, 26, 27, 28, we're looking at some of those smaller exercises being Compo 2 and Compo 3, so that becomes National Guard and Reserve. Why? Because because we all know from the 25th and the 11th, those Compo 1 units are tapped. They're going out pathways, they're going into the Philippines. They're not just sitting around with nothing to do so you can add another exercise. But what we need to do is we need to get those Reserve and National Guard units prepared. And the way to get them prepared is through exercises and rehearsals forward in the region, doing what it is that they're expected to do. So let's just say it's an MP company from Guam. That's happening in November. The Guam MP company is being mobilized, and it's been being mobilized for the last 6 months. They will then deploy from Guam, come to Hawaii, go to the ranges, certify themselves and prepare to deploy, and then they'll come in and be a part of the exercise of the 25th Infantry Division. That company commander and first sergeant. What an opportunity for that company. And it's a reserve company, right? So that's what we're doing to kind of grow in those areas. Yeah.
The other part of his question, you got the foreign OCTs, like Australia, Philippines, New Zealand, that want to be part of our exercises.
Yeah. So why do we bring in Australia, Philippines OCs, Taiwan's OCs? Why do we bring them all in? Because we are also helping Japan, Korea, Taiwan, Thailand, every one of those countries, we are helping them with preparing their CTCs. How do they do field training exercises? How do they do a culminating training exercise at the end of they've now done small live fires, platoon, sticks, lanes. How do they do a culminating training event? They lean on us to help us show them how to plan it, how to prepare it, then how to execute it. So when they come to our CTC and observe, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for how we put together such an amazing exercise with all that. So we got our partners out there, and we're trying to show them how we do it and be a part of that. And it helps when you have the 71st Infantry Battalion as part of the rotation in the Philippines. That's a Philippine battalion. But the OCs were from the Philippine Army. So they went through our OC Academy. Then we kind of teamed them up with our 3rd Battalion. And now we've got their OCs being primarily coming from their country. That's how we augment and we bolt it around our expertise. Cool. Next one. What have we not talked about that you guys hoped we would talk about? Okay. All right. We got a lot of people that are here in the room right now that'll stick around after this. We've got a lot of people in the room that for those that are on the outstations that are interested, you don't have to just talk to the people that are doing the interviews. You can ask somebody that you know as part of JPMRC. We live for this. This is our focus right now. We have a big exercise in November, but right now our absolute priority is this marketplace, and it is about recruiting. It is about letting people know what we're about. If you're not in the marketplace, it's also the time to start thinking about it. The best way to get to JPMRC is outside the market. Okay? Why? Because that's where we have the most amount of flexibility and creativity. All right? So talk to the folks that are in your formations and your teammates and say, start locking it in before you go in the marketplace. Find out where the openings are. Find out how we can get that in. And we can talk to you, and then we can work with your branch managers and your branch chiefs to figure out what's the right move for you, for your family, for the people that are on your team. All right? And for those of you that are in the market, JPMRC is going to be around in a couple of years as well. So when you go out there and you do your company command, you do battery command, you do something like that, you PCS, JPMRC will be around for a long time. And everything that you're learning out here will help benefit you. All right? If you want to know what it is we're looking for at JPMRC, and you think, all right, this is how I get to JPMRC. Send them my OERs, send them your STP, look at all my badges. If you think those are the things that impress us the most, you're fooling yourself. All right? The fact that you are dialed in today, that's the stuff that matters to us. The fact that you showed up today, that's the stuff that matters to us. If you reach out to us and you have your teammates reach out to us and say, I'm interested, that's what matters to us. We want people that want to be a part of this team. Doesn't matter what badges, schools, and all that stuff that you've been to, right? We are looking for people that care about their family. If you come to our team, you are part of our family. We care about your health. If there's something wrong, you got something wrong with your ankle, something wrong with your back, you're battling something, we care. We care about your health. And if you think we're just going to run people into the ground out here, you're fooling yourself. All right? That's what we are about. out here. And so we are going to be highly selective on the people that we bring in. Why? Because the people that we've brought in over the last year, they're the ones selecting the next group. And if we bring in the right people to this organization, all the rest of this shit's going to take care of itself. Because we've got the best people in the world on the best team, and we can trust them to plan these things and execute them out there on the line. And if that's the kind of stuff that you're looking for, if that kind of stuff sounds interesting to you, then you're the kind of person that we want on our team. So thanks for dialing in from the outstations, and thanks for being here today. Thank you.